search startup. Yeah, today I'm going to talk about how I use coding LLMs, coding AI to build my startup, to build this entire end-to-end search product. Um, just a few years back, it would have been impossible for someone like me as a solo entrepreneur to do this alone. And that too, bootstrapping it, so with my own savings. But hey, we live in the age of abundance, or at least we're heading towards it. And one of the benefits, among all the downsides that we'll also have, better take advantage of the upsides, is we'll have intelligence at a relatively low cost. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how I'm using the AI intelligence to my benefit, and basically using them as software engineers and architects and guides and coaches to kind of help me. So here you're seeing in the screenshot, this is a screenshot from the product I'm building. This is my search results page. It's like a perplexity today, but if you watch my previous videos, this is just the beginning, very beginning. There's a long journey I'm on. And you can see I'm searching for meaning of life, something, something, and you can see that I also search YouTube for this query. And you can see that, there are no results coming from YouTube. And I use the YouTube data API, no scraping or anything. And I pay for the API on Google Cloud. So this is all legit. So that's the problem. And so what I've done, and what I generally do is I invoke all three AI, or at least two of them, CLAUDE and CODEX. But sometimes all three of them. In this session, I'm using all three of them. And I want to show you, first of all, the differences between the three LLMs. And then I'll also talk about how to use all three of them at the same time without them stepping on each other, and why you should do it. If you're someone like me, taking on billion and trillion dollar startups by yourself as alone, a solo person, you need all the help you need, all the help you can get. So all the help. And I'm quite confident actually when this thing comes out, you'll be surprised how good this thing is. And it surprises me that I built this by myself. It's been over a year, in total of 2 years since I quit my Google search leadership role. The first year I was experimenting, and the last 1 year is when I've sort of seriously building this, and I'm doing this full time. I'm doing nothing else, just this one thing: eat, sleep, breathe, family, this, nothing else. Okay, so let me show you first. Actually, before I show you, what are these three AIs, right? So I'm using CODEX 5.2, ultra high. I'm on the $200 plan, so this is like the max thinking mode. I'm using Claude Opus 5. Claude Opus, what is it? I forget the latest version, 4 something. But anyways, Claude Opus, that too on max thinking level, and then Gemini 3 Pro. My go-to is Claude and CODEX. Gemini is great at one shot sort of coding, but when it comes to large code base, it kind of loses track of progress and keeps repeating the same mistakes. It gets weird. So it has some time before it matures. But first thing I want to show you why Claude is absolutely the best coding LLMs. This is a screenshot. You don't have to read it, but what I want to show you is when I asked the question, hey, see screenshots and kind of help me out, look at its reasoning and the thought process and the steps it took. And when I say look, just like scan, glance at everything it did. It ran commands, it viewed the image, and that's the screenshot I took to kind of tell it, hey, something's not right, help me troubleshoot. It did a bunch of things. It uses Context 7, which is one of the MCPs I'm using to search the web. It's using Exa MCP, which is another MCP I'm using to search the web, and all of that, right? It just, I'm sorry. This is CODEX. I'm sorry. But CODEX is doing pretty good. I was talking about Claude, which is doing a lot more. That's what I thought. Why is this? That's it. It's not done. So you can see CODEX It's 25 minutes and 15 seconds. I don't know if you can see it. Let me kind of take a screenshot here to kind of show you. Um, there you go. And you can see it's like 25 minutes and 22 seconds. It's a lot. It's a lot. But it still hasn't come to a reasonable conclusion. And it's good progress. But I wanted to start with Claude. So let's go to Claude. Claude is insane. So here's where I started the command, the bunch of images I gave, and look at the thinking. And it's so crisp in its thinking. Like the model is so well reinforcement learned, not just fine tuned, but reinforcement learned so well. And it's the thinking is so crystal. It's like truly I'm sitting with someone, a software engineer, and I'm like the lead, and the software engineer just goes, oh, let me do this. And it's also, if you set the right setting, it really spits out everything it's thinking. Let me check this. That's why I thought that doesn't look like Claude. This is Claude. This is very informative. But all right, let me read this file. Let me search. Um, root cause number one found something something. Then it looked at a bunch of files, and then it's like, okay, now I understand this, and now I understand that. It just goes on and on. I see two different YouTube paths. That's the problem. On and on. Like I said, don't pay too much attention on the text, but on and on and on, and it's not garbage. At first, you're like, oh my god, this is like it's getting lost, but no, it is. If it if it kind of veers into a direction it shouldn't, it quickly finds out, figures it out most of the time, and then it'll get back to the main sort of point at hand or the main path that it should be looking at. But it does explore like breadth first search, different paths, and then narrows down on the path that likely is the root cause. Now a clear picture, still going, still going, still going, still going. And then it does a bunch of analysis, comes up with different options now for me to fix what the problems are, classifications, option A, option B, option C. It prepared a doc, saved the doc with the root cause analysis. It created a linear ticket for this problem, like, hey, we need to fix this. It said investigation complete. All the files it looked at or all the files we need to make updates, the issues, issue one, issue two, and then off we go, right? And how long it's been working. Claude has been working, I want to say, oh, it's not showing it anymore, but it's the same time. Oh, here, 13 minutes. Again, let me take a screenshot so you can see it. It's 13 minutes, but it has made so much progress, and it's spot on because I know the problem now. Now that it mentioned it, I can tell this is really the problem. And then it's like, what do you want me to do? It's already telling me next steps, and it's waiting. It's done. And Codex still kind of going, not very verbose, so very hard to tell it's thinking. And I've set the right config setting as well to be verbose in thinking. Also very slow, very slow. It's frustrating. Now I am using ultra high thinking, but this is not thinking. It's just slow. It's just slow. And it takes a long time. It does do at the end when it is done, it does find some the root causes most of the time. Claude just finds faster and it is much better at it. I will say that sometimes Codex finds some very subtle detail, and maybe this is why it's taking more time, hard to tell, that Claude has missed, Claude Opus. And then so I'm like, hey, Claude, what about this? Like, I found this as well from another AI. And it's like, oh, yeah, 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 that's true. I missed that. So it does happen. So that's why you want to use more than one AI, and also to get two different perspectives, see what they think, not only is the root cause, but also how to solve it. So you get two different perspectives, and then you can use the judgment. Now, the way I'm using these AI is I'm not just letting it do everything. I review the thinking, I review its recommendation, I think about it. Does this match why I'm building this? Does this match my vision? Does this match uh, my value? So like I'm a 1% startup, move fast but build a great infrastructure, or robust, scalable, flexible infrastructure so I can move fast as I add more features down the road. But at the same time, no over engineering. And there are certain sort of tenets I have how I want to build this. And so then I kind of critique it, sometimes give additional feedback and go on. But that initial analysis is very helpful. But I don't like, hey, yeah, you found it, fix it. Oh yeah, now build this feature, now this feature. We aren't there yet today. Where for very large scale application, which if you're building like a AI search, native search platform, just the query processing pipeline is there's so many steps. It's going to be very difficult for you to just vibe code it. It's just today we are not there yet. Also, I've noticed that it's a hodgepodge of sometimes these LLMs go very sort of engineering design heavy, and sometimes they just band-aid fix it. They'll tell you, but that's another reason why you don't want to just let them make the decision and go off it. You have to kind of guide them, but their analysis is so helpful. And then I want to show you Gemini. That's the last. This is Gemini. Gemini it completed so quickly. That's the one other thing about it. I did give it some extra help, but it's just like, there's a root cause done. And yeah, it found, one of the root cause, but it didn't find both. It also was very sort of weak in reasoning. It was very weak in coming up with options, proposal, how to fix this, like the implementation plan. It's like a junior software engineer. It's like, oh yeah, I think it's this, and I think we should do this, and it's kind of right. But you want to tell the junior software engineer, yeah, take a step back, you think about the big picture, and then try harder. And have you thought about this? So it misses that. And I am using Gemini 3 Pro High, and then the planning mode, right? So that's what I wanted to sort of talk about in this video, how I do it. These LLMs are super useful, but Claude, it just cannot live without Claude. Like, it's just the best, and people online talk about, I like Claude, but they're not able to articulate it. This is how I can articulate why Claude is invaluable. You can use Codex and Gemini, that's fine, but you need Claude in your arsenal. You cannot go without it today. Then this is how I would articulate. Number one, Claude has better tooling. So more intelligence, better coding assistant or not, it just has much better tooling, agentic tooling. And that's useful because the tooling guides, it's like the orchestrator. The tooling guides what the AI should be doing. And it literally guides the entire workflow. And so it's so important. This is not like a root cause analysis like this. It's not a prompt, LLM prompt, just tell me the answer. It's an agentic sort of approach that these LLMs, yeah, these coding LLMs take. So they're like, oh, let me take a step up. Let me find out what the problem is. Let me understand it. Let me review the screenshot. Oh, let me find the relevant files. Oh, is there a doc I should read? Okay, found a bunch of files. Let me read each one of them. Then sort of find the semantic search, the most sort of relevant pieces, put it all together. Now let me understand, get the full picture. Oh, now I maybe found the problem. Let me hone in on it. Oh, okay, this definitely looks like it. Now let me come up with a solution, but let me understand how the code base is structured. All of these are steps, agentic steps. AI cannot do it in one step because these LLMs, the context window only will fill out. And also the thinking needs several steps. So the tooling is very important. So that's number one, why Claude is invaluable. Second, the Opus model is fine-tuned to really hone in on sort of how a normal software engineer codes, like the steps it goes through, and I'm talking about human reinforcement learning. I can tell a lot of engineering has gone into human reinforcement learning compared to Codex and Gemini. I almost feel that they've focused more on just core model intelligence and less on how a human software engineer thinks and the steps it goes through and kind of train on it and reinforcement learn on it. That's the second reason. It acts like a software engineer compared to Codex and Gemini. They've gone, yes, they do some of the similar things, but they're not, the training is not as sophisticated as Claude. And number three is that the how do I put it? The way I would say it is the it has Claude has a just has developed a tendency to just get to the sort of most salient part of a very large code base very quickly. And so it's almost like not the model intelligence. Again, maybe this goes back to the tooling, but it's sort of it has become it's very good at working with a large code base, finding the right files, finding the right sources, finding the right documentation. Like the search part of the exercise to kind of get going is very good. So that's the third reason. It's very good at searching. It's in its own way. And kind of narrow down sort of the context that it needs to understand and come up with a proposal or solution compared to CODEX. CODEX gets lost. It's also very slow, so it takes a lot more time. I don't even think CODEX will be done even right now. Yeah, okay, now it's done, but it takes a long time, a long time for CODEX to um, get to it. But like I said, it's valuable. CODEX is also not verbose enough to share its reasoning, uh, and um, it's not. It, it doesn't sort of explore the space enough as Claude does, and also doesn't propose with clarity and detail that Claude does. So that's how I put, why you need Claude. Now you can't go ahead and develop this without Claude and just stick with Gemini or Codex or just one LLM. If you're using just one LLM, you're at a serious disadvantage. Like if you're doing anything serious like me, like I'm taking on giants alone, putting so much money in, I have no income. Like this is serious stuff. Uh, I yeah, I don't know how you do it. Like no one LLM is quite there yet. You need different opinions. Also, sometimes you can use them to think about different tasks in parallel, like front end and back end. You can use one LLM to focus on back end, one for front end. And there are lots of other ways you can think of how you can use them together. Three to me is a little confusing. That's why I don't use Gemini all the time. But anything like a root cause analysis, I will throw the problem at all three of them. But in terms of actual coding and verification, because I read the thinking and because I read the proposal, I'm not just vibe coding. Sometimes I'll step in and even change files, but it's mostly AI. But because I'm following, I'm keeping an eye, more than two AI at the same time, to me, it's like I can't, I lose context. So Gemini is on an as needed basis for me. Sometimes I'll ask it to write docs, research the web. How can we improve come up with options, things like that. And then I'll park that. Like once it's done, I'll sort of just park its response and I'll come back to it later. And then I'll actively work with the other two. So anyway, I just wanted to share how I'm building this. Again, I want to build this in the open. So these things are very fun for me to share. And I've come to this point after I want to say almost a year of different experimentation. And the summary is this: like use multiple LLMs, AI LLMs, use top of the LLMs if you can. So I'm using the $200 Claude and $200 Codex, and I'm a Gemini Pro subscriber as well. But if you can't, you still use all of the use more than one LLM, but just you'll have to kind of work with the limitations. Um, if you're just doing coding for fun or the weekend, just build something to show off on Twitter or X, then one code Opus is just fine. Claude is just fine. But if you want to build something serious, like what I'm building, um, like building, even though I don't have my own search index, it's something I want to build down the road. It's not easy to just, it's not enough to just call an AI and like spit out its own answer. That's kind of, it's just so much emphasis on putting on real-time content. And it's something I've talked about in my previous videos. And it's difficult to kind of put it all together in a cost-effective way, in an intelligent way, and also do it such that your response is on par or better than your competitor. It's not easy. So I need the help, and I'm super grateful. So that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.